welcome everyone. Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
welcome to another Wednesday, and that means we have another pop-up Q&A.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
yes, another pop-up Q&A, meaning this is another session where you can ask us any career-related questions you have, and we'll try our best to answer it within this 30-minute session. Actually, so if you have friends who want to join us, right, invite them. If you have questions, bring it up. We'll only be here for 30 minutes, so don't dilly-dally, lah, right? So how is everyone feeling today? Can you, Sam?
All right, feeling okay.
I'm
It's
very sleepy.
midweek.
Don't lah, right? Let's keep our
Yeah.
energy up for this 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we're all back in the office now after so long,
Yeah.
coincidentally. So it's refreshing, I guess. We are no
Yeah.
longer streaming from our bedrooms. Yeah.
Yes, good to
Yeah.
see everyone again, right? So how is everyone watching us today feeling? Can you hear us clearly? Can you hear us loudly? Let us know in the comment section below, right? So before we start taking your career questions, I just want to highlight to everyone who is watching now, who are the early birds joining us now, that actually Food Panda is hiring for 5 positions right here, right now. So if you are interested in joining Food Panda, if you're interested in any of the roles that is listed on the screen right now, we want to learn more about them, perhaps head on over to wobbjobs.com/foodpanda, right? So their company profile is on our website. Learn more about how it's like working at a company, check out the work environment and check out the jobs and apply there as well, right? So with that being said, let's jump into, well, I guess the questions, right? Before you guys have any questions for us, or before we bring in any questions from previous session, I want to ask everybody who is watching now, do you feel guilty when you're applying for leave? I'm asking the audience. I'm asking both of you as well, Kenny and Sam. Have you felt guilt when applying for a leave before?
Yeah.
Sam, go first.
Yeah. I think I'm sort of like a workaholic. So like if I apply for leave, it's like, oh my god, like are people gonna come and contact me? What if I can't get like stuff for them? And I'm like, oh man, I feel bad. Like, oh no, the company can't move forward if they don't have these stats. It's like, that overthinking kind of thing.
So
Too
that's
much,
you last time. What about
That's
you,
me,
Kenny?
I definitely did at the start of when I first started working. I'm like, I have so many days, but I feel like if I don't have a reason to take leave, it's like I'm not going back home, I'm not going on holiday, I won't take leave. But slowly I learned that sometimes you should take rest. You shouldn't feel guilty about taking a break. It's like literally you're working like so many days in the year. It's fine for you to take a leave. So gradually I'm getting much better at it. Brian,
Yeah.
what about you?
Yeah. What about you?
Well, before me, right? So Jeremy, someone agreed with us that they also do feel guilty when applying for leave. What about the other people watching? Do you feel guilty applying for a leave? Do you feel like I know you have to justify? Some people have to like justify very clearly on why they're applying for a leave when they're sending an application. Although there's nothing wrong with it, like it's all right for you to take a leave. For me, yes. So I don't know, like even when I take leave, right, if it's like for holiday or like for a time off, I cannot shut down, so I might as well not take leave. So one thing I want to point out is that I asked some of my friends, and this is just not me only, right? When you join a company that has like unlimited leave days or like high leave amount, for some reason you take lesser leave, because it's not like
Yes.
quantifiable. I don't know, like, yeah. What
Yes.
do you
I
feel
think it's
that?
a psychological thing or something like that, right?
Yes.
But yeah,
No,
I do
I
agree with that.
Yeah, I think I talked to this about my friends as well. It's like when you have unlimited leave, you don't think about it. But when you have a limited number, you'll be like, oh, okay, I need to clear my leaves before the end of the year. So you actually like put in effort to take that amount of time off. But if you have unlimited, you're like, okay, I just take it anytime. But it doesn't pop in your mind to clear it out. It doesn't feel like a task. Because for some people, you just forget about it and you take
Yeah.
less leave.
Yeah. So Shasni also said, like, yes, even though I have an unlimited leave, mainly because my department only have 2 people. If I'm on leave, my head of department has to do my work. I really don't want that. Yeah, I think that's like, but with all this guilt, feeling of guilt, right? It's important for you to not burn out as well. So, if I as long as you finish your work, I think it's okay lah, right? Like there's nothing wrong. Like you're legally allowed to take leave. You're legally entitled to a few days of leave lah, right? So yeah, don't burn yourself up. I think with that, right? Let's jump into some of the questions for today lah, right? But I still want to hear from all of you. Do you feel guilty or not when applying for leave? I think especially during MCO when
yeah.
you're working at home, it's even
Yes.
more weirder to apply for leave, but you're not going anywhere. Uh, let me know whether you felt the same or not. Like that one was what I mostly felt last time, right? So
Mhm.
while we are waiting for you again, right? For those of you who just joined us, right, we are answering your career questions live. So if you have any questions wherever you're watching from, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever, feel free to ask us in wherever you're watching. Just drop it in the comments below. You don't have to come to Facebook to ask us a question, right? We'll be able to see it from wherever you ask it. So let's start, right? Let's start with one of the first questions that people asked us previously. Changing jobs within 2 months. What do you think for a person who just started his work, who needed to change to a new job after a few months because of an unhappy work environment, insufficient salary to keep up with monthly expenses? And is it fine to do so before he just started the job 1 or 2 months ago? What do you think?
Okay, so obviously we around here, despite being a job portal, we really don't recommend people to change jobs too often because for the time being, especially at the start of a career, it may not seem like much, it won't affect you, but in the long run, if you're constantly changing jobs, it will leave a negative impression on employers. But I think in this particular case, you're not changing. I would say when you go for interviews and stuff like that, you can be honest, especially about the part where you are not earning enough to cover your expenses. I think there's a very practical aspect. You should frame it objectively. I would recommend refraining. I would recommend that you try not to mention about, oh, you didn't like the environment and stuff like that, because you've only been there for 2 months. It's very hard for you to tell for sure. But be very objective about it. You really aren't earning enough and you don't see the potential, so you're trying to look for an opportunity that's better. But obviously, be sure that the next job that you choose is a job that you want to stay for a longer time. Because 2 months, you could even say that you're still in a probation period, so it's still fine that you decide that this is not the place for you. And I think other employers will understand, but you need to frame it in the right mindset. You are not changing jobs because you want to, or because you're money minded, but because you're making it out of practical reasons. And typically, that shouldn't affect you too long if you don't do it too often.
Yeah, I also agree. But I find it a bit odd lah, that how come this person accepted a job 2 months ago and then like quickly decided it's insufficient salary. Like I mean, I don't know the context, I don't know full context, but I would advise generally, like you need to make sure what are the salary packages first before you accept the job offer. Don't accept it out of like just because it's the first one to respond to you, then like yes. If you and then you think like, oh, maybe I should just like take it first while I keep searching for other job at the same time. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. If you do this too frequently, right, it's gonna look really bad on you. By this I mean changing job within like less than a year. The unhappy work environment, right? That one, like I said, it's hard to tell sometimes. Employers tell you one story outside, but then when you join, then it's another story within lah. But I want to ask you, what are your efforts now then to make sure the next company you join has a happy work environment? Sometimes maybe you just have to stick to it, actually experience it, and maybe it's just a point where you're still new, because 2 months is still quite new. Maybe you haven't eased up to the environment yet. You still feel like you don't belong there. But like what Kenny said, I totally agree with what Kenny said just now. But I also have to, like I said lah, what kind of steps are you taking to make sure you don't repeat the same mistake if you were to switch job right now? Like, if you're leaving for the same reason again, I don't like the work environment, insufficient salary, then people, honestly, recruiters might see that the problem is you and not the company really, if this happens too frequently. Yeah.
Yes, I completely agree.
Anything, Sam?
I think you guys pretty much covered what I wanted to say.
Yeah, I think
also.
quite detailed already,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, thank you for that question. Let's take some that are coming in from today. Yes, the YouTube gang. I like the
Wow, we're
Yeah.
getting more viewers from YouTube.
yes. So, nothing against people who are not watching from YouTube, but it's like we don't know how people are discovering us on YouTube, and we wholeheartedly
love
welcome
it.
people, yeah, who ask questions on YouTube, right? So let's tackle this then. Is it possible to apply an intern position even after have been? I guess the person has been working for full time for about 3 years. Reason being, it may be a different field. Is it okay? What do you guys think?
Sam, would you like to take this?
Um, I think that it's okay to apply for an intern position, but you have to remember that if you do it, the salary will be much lower than what you're currently earning. So you have to really bear that in mind whether you are able to cover the cost of that discrepancy in your salary. But yeah, I personally don't see a reason why not. But at the same time, I think even if applying for an internship position, you need to make sure that you have the interest in wanting to go into that position. Like, don't just, apply and say, oh, I want this internship because I don't have a background in this and I want to learn from your company. But you have to go in also with the mindset that you should do your own research on the job that you're planning to apply for, so that when you go in, at least the employer will see that, oh, this person has interest, they have put in the effort, and maybe in the long run, they could think of converting you into a full-time if, you do really well in the internship. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So it's gonna, like what Sam said, you have to be very realistic. Your salary will not carry over. And if let's say you do take this internship, right, and then you want to join a full-time position in a different field, you are starting off new. So even your full-time position in that new field or your salary might not be the same as your previous job. Okay, so you need to evaluate whether your expenses are like if you can cover your expenses with that or not. And if you can, right, I think Chan Hui, I think this is actually one of the best ways for you to apply to a different field and get into a different field. If you have decided and did enough research that this is something that I really want to get into. What I mean by that is like what Sam said, don't treat this internship as like this is a trial run. This is the test water whether I see I want this or not. You need to use all of your resources available to figure out whether this field is actually one even you want to start stepping in through an internship or not. Like, think about it this way. I always tell people think about it this way. What are you doing right now to prepare yourself for your upcoming role? Meaning, are you doing enough research? Are you starting to learn? What I mean by that is, let's say you want to jump in graphic design, for example, and you don't have graphic design graphic design experience, right? Don't think of the internship as the way for you to test out whether you want to try this or not. Try graphic design by yourself, practice it, learn from online resources. You might find that you don't like it. You might find that you don't like it. You might find that you like it. Then okay, sure, continue. Talk to people working in that field. How is their career progression? Like, connect to people on LinkedIn, for example, to ask about their experience working in that field. But yeah, that are my thoughts so far. Anything from you,
Yeah.
Kenny?
So Hui Long, my only advice for you, since they covered most of the thought process and everything, is operationally speaking, do remember to update in your CV that you're looking for internship and you're looking to transfer to a different industry. You don't have to maybe say that you are looking for internship, but it's very important that you're stating your desire, your intention to shift. Because like you mentioned, you have been working for 3 years, and one of the biggest things that employers are looking out for when they are screening through CVs and applicants is relevancy. So when they see your application, which only has for example, you're from IT, you're looking to go into design, and it only has IT experience, they will not be able to see the connection. And seeing that you're a person that has 3 years of experience, they might think that you are spamming, but that's not your intention, correct? You're actually intending to switch careers and trying to do internships. So it's very important that you pass on this message to the employer through your CV. And the most simple way you can do that is just to edit your personal summary to show that, so that your CV won't just be thrown away with the false impression that you are an irrelevant candidate. Yeah.
Yep. Totally agree. Right. So if any of you have any thoughts or any experience, in this situation, of switching jobs to different career, whether you took an internship or not, right? Let us know in the comments. We love to hear your thoughts as well. Perhaps you can also help this person who asked the question, right? So yes, with that, let's move on to the next question. Again, everyone watching, you can ask your career questions here in the comments, and we'll be able to take it live right now. So we have 15 minutes. So be quick, lah, right? Before questions pile up and we don't manage to answer. So yes, next one would be from Jasmine. Been wondering about this related to building CV or resume. Would experiences related to volunteerism be counted or be significant enough to put in the resume? Would this be an added advantage on the CV, especially for people who have less prior employment experiences? Your thoughts, Kenny and Sam?
I'll go
Okay.
first.
Yeah, I can go ahead.
Yeah. So I was going to say that definitely put it in your resume, your CV, especially if you don't have like working experience, because through the activities that you've done, the employer will be able to see what kind of person you are, especially if, let's say, you are volunteering and maybe you led a team or you coordinated some stuff for the organization. Like, definitely put it down, because the employer will see, oh, this person has leadership skills, can lead people and stuff like that. And I think it will really help in their decision making process about you. Yeah. So,
Yeah, totally agree.
I agree with Jasmine, but I do have sort of like something that I want people to notice. Like, if let's say you're just volunteering for an event and you just go and you don't do much, that is not gonna, like, you just stating, for example, I joined this charity run. That is not gonna do much benefit for you. You should, like what Sam mentioned, put in your, how does it
achievements.
your achievements, or like what you actually did, because you're trying to use that experience to show your soft skills to the employer. So just stating it is not enough. But if, let's say, you have, for those that have more experiences and you just want to show that you are volunteering, you can put it in. Some employers do look at these kind of experiences and interests as a good thing. But if, let's say, you have more experiences in other areas, they will definitely hold more weight than volunteering, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jasmine, unfortunately, we don't know your professional profile. But like, just to echo what they've said, right? If you have things that are relevant to the job you're applying for, definitely put that first, right? All these volunteers who might not be what I mean by relevant, like for example, if you are going for an accounting job, right? I give you an example, right? You're going for an accounting job. If you have any clubs in society related to accounting one, if you have took on any roles in any like like I said, club in society, that you're
NGOs, maybe.
like you're the treasurer or whatever lah, right? You're the accountant for those clubs in society. That would definitely come before all this. Like I say, I don't know what you mean by volunteering. Maybe it could be volunteering for those events, right? Try to spin it back to what is related to the position you are applying for. If you have none of this at all, and your CV looks a bit empty, right, and you just have a lot of academic qualifications but not much all these extra co-curricular activities or all these voluntary activities, you need some more things to add it in, sure, that would be good. But if your CV is already like 1 page, 2 page long already, and this is going to drag it even longer, right? Omit it. Like, really just omit it. It's all about relevancy. When you have a very, very long CV, sometimes it works against you. It's not an advantage to have a very long CV. Your CV should be summarized as the highlights. What are your top highlights fitted into 1 page or 2 page like that? So I hope that answers your question, Jasmine. Right? So we're done with this. Are we done with this?
Yeah.
Yes.
So then next one then. Again, we're taking career questions, so do ask it in the comments down below. But the next one would be, okay, apparently it's a tough question for career coaching. Good, we love tough questions. Let's see how we can handle this. When money is no longer a motivation in career, but passions and desire for breakthroughs and gaining more satisfaction through creating breakthroughs to help others are still very strong, what are the options that one can consider? uh, let me just see whether I'm getting this right or not. So money is no longer the motivation for this person to uh, move up in their career, to work hard, right? But the desire for breakthroughs and gaining more satisfaction through creating breakthroughs, basically like problem solving and achieving innovations and stuff like that, right? Is still very strong. What are the options that one can consider? I think, well, maybe both of you have other thoughts, but I think, right, that means you need you don't this person might not care about money anymore. They care about job satisfaction, right? So how is job satisfaction gained then? By maybe actively hitting their KPIs, maybe actively solving problems that are present in the company that no one has solved before, or maybe providing new solutions, right? I would, again, from the context of this question here, yeah, I would say maybe starting your own startup could be an option. If that's too extreme for you, join a very, very young startup. You typically startups are, I mean, good ones, lah, right? They want to provide something to the market that nobody else is providing, right? So you're technically helping people. But if you're joining this company, a young startup, right, you're definitely going to have a lot of problems. Like it's going to have a lot of problems. And startups, I'm not saying, I'm talking about in general, yeah, right? There's a sense of like, because they're still young, they might not be able to pay you as high as your current job right now. Again, case by case basis, but generally it's like this. You want to take some risk. You really, really want to own your work, right? And your ideas, your new ideas to be heard, and you want to control the planning. You want to execute it. I think this is the option that you can consider, dear Facebook user, who unfortunately I can't see. But yes, that would be that's my recommendation to your question.
Yeah, I actually fully resonate with Brian as well. Hearing what you're saying, that you're quite financially stable, so you're looking for something that I would describe as a passion project. You want to sort of be a mentor. Oh yes.
Oh, there is a follow up to this. Well,
Is
let's
it
see
from the
whether
same
this.
person? I think it's a
Yeah.
different question.
Oh, it's a different question. So maybe
I
I'm
think it's
confusing. Okay, so let me know
I
if
think
you're the
it's
same person.
different.
Sorry, go ahead, Kenny.
Yeah. So from what I'm hearing, it seems like you're just you're financially stable and you're looking for something like a passion project. And I assume you have some experience and you sort of want to help others find breakthrough, solve problems as well. So like Brian mentioned, a startup might be something you could consider, starting one yourself, or even joining one. If let's say you don't want to make such extreme decisions of changing your whole career, which is really good because you can find some project that you resonate with. Most of the time, startups are looking for people who are passionate about driving an idea and trying to make it a reality. Not saying that money is not a priority, it's still a concern, but the main goal is to try to make an idea a reality, and that kind of environment might be the kind that you're looking for. But alternatively, if you're still looking to maintain your current position, perhaps you could consider taking on a more managerial or coach-like role that you mentioned. So you can sort of help your juniors. I believe there are some people who are much better at helping people develop their skills and like mentoring. So maybe that is an option that you can raise up to your managers, or if you're superiors, or if you're the superior, you can maybe start a program where you can help your younger employees and colleagues, like lead them the way and show them how to sort of plan their careers and it's more.
Yeah. So it's sometimes, again, I don't know what kind of work environment you're working at, but sometimes your companies have new projects that they need a project lead to take this on. And if you're a position two, right? Yeah, like go ahead. That might be the breakthrough you're looking for. You're solving a problem that the company needs. Perhaps it's forming a new team to do something new. But you're still within a company, so you don't really have to take on, if that opportunity is present for you, right? You don't have to take on the risk to leave the job, join another one, start all over again. Those are some of the options that you can consider. Like make yourself available for new projects if you're in a position to, take on those opportunities and lead them. Yeah. Are those all of our thoughts for this question?
I wanted to say something, but I'm not
Go
sure if
ahead.
this is very relevant. But the thought that came to mind was like NGOs. I don't know why. But maybe like, if money is not really a factor, and you still want to create an impact in society and to help younger people, I highly recommend like volunteering at certain places because your skills are always transferable and can always help. I think that's like a passion of mine, like
Yes.
helping people. So
Yeah, not
Yes,
it
that's a really good
resonates.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a very good, not
yeah,
only volunteering. There are companies like there are altruistic companies
yeah,
who do
exactly.
things to better the environment, to better people. You could perhaps do that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there are tons of options to consider if you're looking for job satisfaction. But what gives you the job satisfaction? You have to ask yourself that lah, right?
Yeah,
It's different for everybody.
that's right.
So we're good here.
Yeah.
Yes, we're good then. Um, let's look at the next question then. From Firdaus. I've been working non-stop, even expected to work during medical leave. I'm so tired and planning to resign to take a few months off. I have savings to survive for a few months, but afraid of the risk of not getting a new offer in the future. Should I proceed? Um, what do you think?
All right. So something that we always say, like, okay, obviously, I think you're feeling very burnt out, and I think if you're on leave, you should not be expected to work. Sometimes you can't help it, but if it's going on for too long and too often, it's really not that healthy for yourself. It seems like you've made the decision to change where you are, but an advice we'll give, regardless of how good or bad the economy is try not to leave your job without securing one yet. You don't have to quit only then you can look for a job. Start looking out now. If you start now, there's less time in between. If you start now, you're giving yourself extra time to look for a job rather than stop and then spend like 2 or 3 months looking for a job. If you start now, perhaps you have 2 or 3 months to serve notice. You have 6 months in total, and that will and at the time and right. If you start now, you still have a
Yeah,
steady flow of income, so that's definitely going to be safer.
but he might not even like have the luxury to find job at attend interview if because like you see he take medical leave also
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's unfortunately he still has to work during then. So uh yes, like what Kenny say would be the most ideal situation. Try to secure something before you jump into the next one. But you mentioned that you have savings to survive for a few months, but afraid of the risk of not getting a new offer in the future. Should you proceed? Uh, that one is a risk lah. Like again, not going to sugarcoat it for you. It's a risk lah. We do, like whether we'll be able to secure a new position or not. That one is still up in the air. But what can be suggested if you can afford it? That's the best way to do so. Try apply for jobs now while you're still having the job. You're still employed right now, and then move on. Serve your notice period. Time it nicely. That means there isn't a point where you are unemployed, lah, right? That's the best case scenario. But even if not, right? Let's say that is not possible for you. I would highly, highly, highly advise you to at least be prepared enough for the job seeking journey first before you jump. Sorry, what I mean by that is if you are planning to resign right now and then you're planning to dedicate your full time to look for a new job, right? I need you to be very prepared for the job seeking journey at least before you resign. What I mean by that is get your CV loaded up nicely, put in 110% in efforts of what makes you distinct from other job applications and figure out exactly what's your next step, what you want to do. Just do like window shopping a bit first, like what are the roles, what are the companies you want to do. So you don't like leave and then you're like, oh, what now? Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Consider first, like try it a little bit first on try to find your direction on what's your next step. You know, only you have a goal to reach, right? Not like you just resign, then like, oh, I don't know what to do now. What do I exactly want? But sometimes maybe you need that. Maybe you need full time to, like self-discover a bit. You need full time with no worry in your mind to discover what's the next best action for you. And all these are valid options. But in the end of the day, you need to know the risk that you are bearing, right? Yeah. So those are our thoughts.
I have some
for-
small thing to
Go
also
ahead.
mention. I think Firdaus, we are not fully aware of the situation, so we can't just like taking guesses. But I think if right now you are still struggling, in the meantime, if you have the opportunity, try to draw some hard lines for work for yourself. There are two types of people. What are the two types of situation? One is that you yourself, you are quite dedicated with your work and you don't know where to draw the line. You need to really set boundaries for yourself, especially most of us are still working from home and the boundaries between like rest and working sort of is blurred. So perhaps you might want to set yourself like you can only do this much during this time and anything outside of that you should stop. Because I notice some people, they'll say that they're very stressed, they're overworked, but sometimes they don't stop themselves either. Obviously, this doesn't apply to all industries. Indeed, in the case where I know there really is a lot of workload, I think you also need to set proper expectations for your managers on how much and how often you can deliver. I know this isn't easy, but perhaps these are some of the things that you can do temporarily to help you manage through this time.
Yeah. Well, we are very, very close to the end of the session already. But thank you so much, for letting us know that we are actually helping you with this what we've just answered, right? But do we have time to jump in for maybe one, two more question? And for those who, let's say we didn't manage to answer by today, right? Don't worry, we will get to it, but we'll let you know how, lah, right? We'll let you know how very, very soon. So let's look at the next one first, right? Let's be a bit more punchy. Let's quick firing session now, right? This is a question from my cousin. If someone is starting their career, should they explore different types of jobs? Hope from one company to another company. Hop from one company to another company to gain exposure and find your talent. Okay. My quick fire answer to this is don't commit to a full-time position to hop. That looks super bad on you, right? Join internships because they're just starting their career. Internships are the best way for them to experience how is it like working. Join fruitful and meaningful internships. Don't join internships sometimes just because like, oh, the company is very famous. Then you go in and you're not actually doing any real work there. You are fetching coffee, you are printing stuff, like all the menial tasks. Don't. Maybe if you can, right, I would even advise you to join some if the internship experience is really, really valuable, sometimes consider joining unpaid internships as well. Like I know this is very not common here in Malaysia, but sometimes you want to apply to a company or apply to work from someone and they're not really accepting internships. One of the ways that you can get through that is like you show your dedication. I want to work as an unpaid intern. I really, really want to learn. But that one is for you to decide whether you want to do that or not. But that is a way for you to show your sincerity that you really, really want to work in that company, want to learn from this person or like whatever, if they don't have an internship opportunity. But internships is the way to go because internships usually there's a limited time on, like I intern here for 3 months or 2 months or whatever, so you can hop. And then like instead of job hopping through full-time positions, which people usually have like the negative view on, right? Getting a lot of internships actually has more of a positive view on you. Like, oh, you're actually discovering what you want to do. Did I cover this for everybody?
I have something I can say. You can go first, Sam.
Wait, I lost my. You can say first.
Okay, I don't know if it's the same point, but my recommendation, if it's, let's say, internships are not really something you want to try, you want to go on something full-time, try applying to management trainee programs. There are a lot of companies that are offering management programs, trainee programs where they will actually rotate you in different departments. This is much better and a practical way of getting different exposures without treating as if a job is a test run. It's a very, very bad attitude and some mindset for a lot of people. It's like, oh, I'm new, I'm going to need to try out this job. If I don't like it, I move on. If let's say you are a business owner, you do not want to hire somebody like that. Yes, you are allowed to try because you are very new, but treat every single job that you take on very seriously. When you come onto a job, you should take it as if it's a full-time job and you're going to be staying there for a while. Okay, hopping from job to job may offer you opportunities, but in the long run, it will affect your career, as Brian has mentioned.
Yep. So, unfortunately, we have overtime by 5 minutes already.
Yeah. Sam has something to say.
Okay, just really quick.
Yeah.
So if you're really just starting out and you don't know what you want to do, I would highly recommend taking like a personality test, like a job career test or like on Google or whatever. At least it will give you some sort of direction in which your personality you can work at, if that's somewhere to start. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
it.
very nice. So quick fire round is fun, you know. Don't worry, you know, Natasha, Kent, and Katiga, I see your questions. We'll let you know exactly how it's going to be answered. But just to let everyone know, we do this, I guess, almost every Wednesday, 12:30 p.m., right? So if you want your questions to be answered live, you know, tune in early. We'll be answering by a first come, first serve basis, lah, right? But don't worry, your questions will be answered. But before that, I want to highlight this opportunity that some of you might have missed because I highlighted it at the very, very beginning, right? Which is Food Panda is hiring on WOBB, you know. So if you see any interest in, well, any of the 5 positions listed here, right? Or you're just genuinely curious about learning more about Food Panda, they have a company profile at wobbjobs.com/foodpanda. Discover how it's like working in that company, learn more about them, and then if you see the position is suitable for you, you can apply at the very, very same page as well, wobbjobs.com/foodpanda, right? Now over to you, Kenny. Well, before that,
Alright.
before that, right? So we can either answer those questions that we did not manage to next week, next Wednesday. That will be the first questions that we will tackle. Or if you want to get it answered now, here's where we go.
All
Go
right.
on,
Okay.
Kenny.
So for Faisal, Kartiga, Kent, Natasha, or anyone else who have any questions, if you have more questions that you want to ask, if you don't want to wait until next week to join us for Pop-up Q&A, you can actually join this community that we created called Offwork, OFFWERK. It's a Facebook group that we created so that literally it was to build a community where you can ask about career advice, get some opinions. Our team will be here to answer questions. You can also get advice from other industry experts. So we have people from HR, from tech, they are also in there, so you can actually get opinions and thoughts from them, answers. So feel free to head over there and you just post your questions and people will answer them. Our team will be there to answer you as well. So hopefully we'll see you at Offwork, or otherwise we will see you next week.
Yes, exactly, right? So see you next week or see you at Offwork, right? So thank you so much, everyone, and thank you so much, Facebook user again. I know I'm so sorry. I cannot see who you are, but I
Sorry,
really
can't see.
appreciate your comments to us. You know,
Yeah.
as usual, we're doing this weekly, and we'll keep doing it as long as people here. You know, you guys still find value in it. So if you like it, you know, you see value in this, you know, perhaps give us a like from wherever you're watching. That's how we gauge the success of this session every week, lah. Right? If there's still value, there's still people watching, there's still people asking a lot of questions, we'll continue to do this as long as you still need it, right? So see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Stay safe, right? Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye everyone. Thank you so much.